We're ready to start turning on this shaft. Got my cool mess set up. We're going to use that to help keep the insert cool. I already got this in center drilled, and I've got my length set here where I need to stop to make our first cut. We've got approximately 1 inch to take off of this end right here. A little bit more down here on the shaft end. But we'll get this roughed in, and then we'll flip the shaft back around, indicate it here, and then rough that in. Okay? So I'm going to use my L&MX insert tool. Go ahead and move this and show you. So that's the tool we're going to use there. My L&MX. I'm going to try to remove a 1/2 inch. And it should handle it as long as it's not chattering on me. We're ready to go. Alright, it's 400. Alright, there's 500 on the dial, 1/4 inch per side. Get the coolant going. I'm going to start with 20,000 feet rate. So far so good. This is where I'm machining the spot for the steady rest here. You can see what kind of run out you have on a shaft like this. Let me back up just a bit for you. You kind of see it a little better probably. So from touching off, that's taken 230 thousandths on the dial to get it round. But we still got plenty of metal there. Even after that's cleaned up, I'll have another approximately 1/8 of an inch to remove. All right, let's continue on with our cuts. I went ahead and brought it back down to our full 1/2 inch cut there. So I just took a little 100 thousandths cut, and let's get going on it. I think the machine is handling it just fine, but I can definitely hear that it's got a load on it. That's about all that tool could handle, I believe. But it's a nice heavy cut, and we're removing quite a bit of metal. I just don't think the insert itself can handle a whole lot more than that. So I like to call it a 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch anyway, 1/4 per side. Alright, there's our first pass. Steady rest made all the difference there. You can see the, I'm just smearing it really, but alright, you can see the chatter on this end. It really cleaned it up here. It'll make a smoother cut now that we're through that crust. So I need to mic it. So we're going to make one more pass and get it down close to our bearing fit, which will be down on this end right here. Alright, I've got it turned to within about a 1/16 or 60,000ths of our finish size down here on the bearing journal. And it's dialed in about 440 thousandths total. Go ahead and make this second cut here. It's a lot smoother cut now that we're through that rusty crust. I wanted to point out too that after that last cut, I removed the tool and cleaned that rust off of it, and it was very cool to the touch. I know it's not flood coolant, but that tool mist does a good job. It's a good alternative if you do not have flood coolant. We move down to what's going to be our shaft bit. That's going to finish at 8.5 inches. So I'm leaving it about a 1/16 big so that we can finish it in. I've got a line scribed right here. This is where I'll stop, and I've got enough room to come in here and finish the two shoulders to the proper length. We're going to make this one cut here. I'll cut the chamfers on the corners, and then we're going to flip it around. Alright, let's get this indicated in. Once I indicate it here, I want to check it with the steady rest was running and kind of compare what kind of run out we're getting. Alright, so we're about 40 thousandths or so. Let's set it up down here and see what we're getting. About 2,500, so that's not too bad right there. So I think what we'll do, I'm gonna go ahead and touch this up again and true this, and then we'll finish this. We'll rough in the other side here. Now on my second roughing pass, and this will bring us down within a 1/16 of our finish on our bearing girdle right here. This one isn't quite a 1/2 inch. This one is around 400 total metal removal. All right, that's going to be the end of our first shoulder there that we're working to, and I'm going to go ahead and step in the next one here, which will be where the gear sits, because that'll be one pretty good size cut right there to bring it down. And once I get this roughed in, then I'll swap out back to our finishing tools and start finishing this in closer to our shoulders. We got a long section here that we got to bring to a shoulder also. This is another 1/2 inch cut, 1/4 inch per side. So I've already got me a stop set here. I got my dial indicator set to 0. I'll know where to go to. And this is leaving me on my shoulder links. This leaves me enough to go in there and finish the shoulder links with the radius. And this is some gasket material that I use. We got a gasket table over there where we can cut out gaskets, and I use this to shield the chips from getting into the rollers there, and they usually work pretty good. This one already had cut to a different size, but it was very close, so I just use it and stick a couple magnets on there to hold it in place. Well, that's it for the LNMX right now. It just busted, and I think the reason why this steady rest down here is very close to the top of this carriage, to the saddle here, and these chips keep trying to land and it binding up. And I think what it did, I was trying to rake them away, they was still binding up there, and it made the carriage twist and dig in, and it busted the tool. That was the original screw, so I'm gonna have to get some more screws for it, and I don't have any. So I've got another tool that I can use to finish this out though, but this right here is just causing me problems, but will prevail. I went and dug out my other big ISCAR tool, and it's been a while since you've seen this. If you watch some of my past videos, I actually did a video testing this insert out, and I just like my LNMX tool better, but we're going to use this to finish off this cut. So I've already got it set here with a 0 set on my dial indicator, and we'll just use this to finish off this cut. It'd be fun to see this make a chip too. And I got this little shield sitting here because I think what the problem is, those chips land here and they get caught up underneath this part of the steady rest. It's so close, and it's trying to bind everything up. So I got this shield here just for this cutting up close, and hopefully that'll fix the problem. That's a pretty good looking chip too. It looks like my little chip pan, or my chip guard, is working. Alright, this is our final roughing cut here. Just trying to get her close. Had to bring it in another 25 thou right there. Catching up. So now we're at a measly 325 thousandths on the dial. Pretty light duty cut there for that tool. I'm still running a 20,000 feed rate, and we could kick it up. We could go to a 25,000 feed rate that would still handle it fine. But I'm just leaving it where it's at. It's doing good. All right, moving on to our center section right here. This is the diameter that's not critical. There's nothing that goes here, but it's a spacer between your gear and your bearing. So our shoulder length is what's going to be critical here, but we're going to go ahead and get it turned in, rough it in, and this will also serve as an area that we can use, put our steady rest again once we go to finish both sides here. And that's how they did the factory shaft too. There's a turned area where you can see they use the steady rest. I'm going to take it kind of easy so I don't get any chatter here. Right now I'm just kind of matching this diameter here, and I'll come back and bring it into size. Now we've moved on to the end of the shaft here. I'm having to turn it to this blue line. This will be the shaft end that finishes 8.5 inches. And I'm just taking one rough cut right here, and this will leave me about a 1/16 of an inch to finish it. Pretty light cut compared to what we were doing. That's 150 thousandths. Right, I'm on to the finishing portion of the shaft end here. swapped out my tools. We're running a CNMG 432, and we're doing our finishing on this first shaft end. That'll be 8.5 inches. I had about a 16th to come off, so this is a 20 thousandths pass. I like to make a nice cut on here and see what kind of taper we're getting and adjust accordingly if we need to. So tool's leaving a good finish. That's just your coolant on there. I slowed it down to a 10,000 speed rate, and we're running, that's 385 RPM. Ooh, so far no taper. Maybe a half a thou. Check it again down here. I'm getting 537. $537.5 or so. About 6/10. That ain't bad at all. Alright, I slowed my feed rate down to 5 thousandths, and that looks like that is leaving a very beautiful finish. That's another 20 thousandths cut, so luckily this, or hopefully should I say, when we get through this cut, we'll have about 17 thousandths to remove, and hopefully this will stay nice and straight. It's cut nice and straight. I'm gonna double check it like I always do. Alright, I dialed in and turned just a little spot on the end here, and I'm checking it to make sure that we're on. I know that we're turning good and straight. Alright, that's putting me right at my finish. Double check it again here. That's giving me just under 1 thousandths that I can polish this. I can hit it with my big belt sander with a fine belt and put a really good finish on that. Alright, still running nice and straight. Don't have much to come off. Okay, we're getting down to our final cut. This is going to be the final cut on this journal. And I know I want to finish it at 8 inches, 665 thousandths. That is what the original shaft down there measures on both journals. That has given me 12.5 thousandths to my size. So I'm going to dial in 12 thousandths. That should bring me hopefully within 1/2 thousandths That'll give me just enough I can hit with some very fine emery cloth and give it a nice little polish. And if we hit our target size, that should give about 3,500 shrink fit for the bearing. All right, there's our finished cut. I'm stopping it right there just before the radius. So we'll go back in there with our radius tool and touch that up. Same way with this corner here. I still have to touch that with the radius tool also. Start right about there. We're gonna make a little undercut there, a little lead in for the gear to fall onto. So 779, so that leaves us 14 thousandths to our finish size there. So what I'll do is I'll dial in 13 and a half here, and that's where it'll fall, and we'll polish it down where we need to from there. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do our little undercut here, our lead in. That's our stop point there. I got a 0 on my dial. And this is 15 thousandths under. I'm gonna touch this sucker. This is just strictly clearance, allow the gear to fall on there and line up with the journal. I'm going to touch it. Alright, that's about 1 thousandths already. So move in 14 thousandths. There it is. There we go. Got a machine 20 degree by 1/4 inch chamfer on here. First side of this is done. We've got all of our journals on size, polished down. think it's turned out pretty good. I'll get you in here and get you a little closer shot of it. Alright, so now it's time to flip her around and finish this side. We've got a shaft size here, same thing, 8.5, and then we got our bearing journal. Get this end indicated. I've got it sitting on the steady rest. I don't have a center in the end. I want to get this running straight, and I want to indicate the end down there in the center and see if it's running out. And now we got 100 thousandths to move. Got a little bit of flicker, and that's the machine running. I turned the lathe off so the needle ain't in there flickering with the machine vibrations. And maybe I'll cover this up, you can see. It's on there. Got a not quite 1 thousandths and a half run out on the shaft here. And it stayed pretty straight. Okay, on the center, now I'm showing a little bit of run out there. Got about 5 thousandths. So what I want to do, I'm going to set my compound here on 30 degrees. I'm going to tool that center so it's true with the good end of the shaft down here, okay? Okay, that's a nice clean center, running true with the rest of the shaft now. Alright, so we come over to our shaft. Like I said, this side's finished here, so this is the side that we're going to have to face out. So we're getting 7.617. 180 that we got to come off this shoulder here. So I got to put my guard here so that the chips don't get into the roller. So what I'll do is I'll cut it really close to that 180. I'll leave just a little bit to move the guard out of the way, do a measurement, and then make a final cut, just as if we were turning on the OD. This is the finished cut for the long journal here. What I do is stop it down on the end and verified my measurement after turning in about 1/4 of an inch, and I was right on size, right on 8.5. So I was getting about 1/2,000 taper through here. So I'll have to do a little bit of polishing just like the other end. Just making my final pass on the bearing journal. So I got another 1/2 towel to polish off, and I'll bring you back when it's all finished up.